Hi, I'm Sarah.
And I'm Chantele. And we're here to talk about an episode of Survivor South Africa, episode 12.
Episode 12 was quite the episode, absolutely. But first, if you're new to this channel, please click subscribe and give this video a thumbs up. Super appreciate that. Was this episode the most, or was this the most? I mean,
I think it was the most. Because like in the beginning, I was like, okay, it's a little bit like dum-de-dum. And I was thinking, I didn't realize it was in two parts. So I was like, oh, it's gonna be wrapped up really quickly. And then I'm like, oh, wait, is this two parts? And then it started like the build, and like the whole second part was just like, I was just shocked the whole time. So this was definitely an episode, and I was entertained.
It was very entertaining. That is the right word. Absolutely. Hello. Okay, so yeah, it starts out normal. We've just come back from tribal. Chappies is like, oh my God, I got an advantage out of this. This is amazing. So exciting. Santoni's acting so upset, like she didn't know, what all the plans were. A lot of tension around camp with this whole, we love a Nasu, but they voted her out.
Yeah, I mean, I love that Santoni was choosing to play this up. I found it interesting that Kieran was like, oh, these theatrics of Santoni. So the fact that they called her out on it, like, they might not have said it to her face, but in confessional at least, I was like, okay, good call. Because I thought she did a pretty good job with, like, acting. So
it's true.
It was funny.
Mm-hmm. Absolutely. Then we get just the start of this. Didn't realize how big this was going to become a thing, but we learned that Chappies has been stealing rice. He says every other night he gets up at night, makes himself a little meal of rice all by himself, and this is how he feeds the machine.
So I was trying to think about how I would feel, and I think that because I like Chappies, I'm not mad at him for it.
Oh.
So this is where I was going to say about, I was very surprised that I was thinking of his antics were a little bit like Russell Hands, who did a lot of like chaos things with camp and putting out fires, and maybe, I don't know if he stole rice or burned rice. I don't know what he did, but he did a lot of chaotic stuff kind of similar to this.
Sure.
And I wasn't a fan of that action, but I think it was because I didn't particularly enjoy him. Right. So right now, I do feel as though he's kind of like the Russell Hands of it all, but I like him.
Yeah, that's a touchy comparison there, because
for chaos, for like, you know what I mean? Like kind of like doing things against everybody at camp.
Right. I don't know. I'm hard and fast on stealing food in Survivor. Like that's a real dangerous thing to do. Now, I love the fact that it's so sneaky. Every other night he goes and does this. I mean, it's a genius plan.
Have you watched any Survivor Australia?
No.
There's a lot of food stealing that happens in there. So
yeah,
maybe I'm a little bit desensitized to it all.
Yeah.
I personally could never do it. I'd feel guilty, like, oh my God, I had a banana extra. Like I'd be so worried personally.
Right.
But I don't know, just because I wouldn't be able to do it doesn't mean that it's completely wrong. Like it's all like an agreement amongst them that they're going to be fair.
Right. Yeah. Oh, I'm not saying it's wrong.
Okay. Yeah.
I mean, like Nico kind of clears it up of like, you do what you got to do to outplay. Like, I'm not saying it's wrong. I'm saying it looks really bad. So don't get caught.
Right. Okay,
you know what I mean?
Yeah. Definitely don't get caught. Cause then you're like, you are done.
It's a no-no. Yeah. But I'm not saying don't try to do it, because you got to do whatever you got to do to have an edge, to have some strength, Tyson's going to give us his priorities here. It's been a few episodes now where we get this sort of Tyson setting us up with a confessional and saying, this is what I want to happen. Yeah. Little kingpin here. And he's spelling it out that it's Santoni and Chappies. Duh. We saw this coming. And he's basically assuming that Santoni does have the idol. We don't see her admitting it to anybody, but it's a good assumption.
There's no, like, no matter what, she's not going to say that she doesn't have it. But so you really have to play the game to assume that she has the idol. So perfect assumption. And it wasn't difficult to find. Like she's by herself. Like she doesn't have to hide that she's looking for it. So
right.
Yeah, you can assume that she found it for sure.
How fun was this auction?
It was great. It was all great. This whole episode was great.
Yeah, the whole episode was, I was like, even this auction is the most. I mean, Nicole, what is happening?
How lucky is she?
I mean, she's lucky, but okay, let's set it up. But I was like, not vibing with Nicole during this. This was, again, I thought she was doing the most, but okay. So they're at the auction. He sets up the rules. They can't share amongst themselves. They have to eat everything there. We already know that Chantele lost half her money, so she's unhappy just going in. First thing up, letters from home, 50 Nikos. Who's buying this?
I'm not buying this, but
stop it. No.
Somebody did. 2 people did.
Chantele and Anella end up buying it. Then Nicole, she ends up buying this next thing, which is basically the first thing up here, for only 100 Nikos. And it's called like begging or the beg.
Beggar's plate, I think.
Yeah. And so she can just ask for anything henceforth, and people can choose to share with her or not. Yeah, that's the rules.
Yeah, basically, it's like, hey, can I just have like a little bit, and they can be like, no, it's all for me. But like, I think that's a lot worse. So it's kind of like, sure, I'll give you a little bit here. So she is allowed to have a little bit of everybody's reward, which is pretty good.
Is really good, and I think that's what I would want. Like, I only want a couple bites of everybody's stuff. It just is better for your system. Yeah. But she's like, oh, can I go ahead and hop in that tub that nobody was willing to buy? Because who really wants to sit in a tub with champagne? Like, that's silly. Who's going to buy that? But she can do that? Sure, go right ahead. So now we have Nicole in a tub with a bottle of champagne. And from here on out is going to be like, can I have some of your cake? Can I have some of that? Can I have a bite of that? And I honestly felt like she got drunk at some point because she was like, this is the best. Can I have some of that? Give me some of that. And I was like, whoa, Nicole.
I think it was the perfect person to have won that reward, though. Like, it just seemed like it's like, of course she won that one. Like, you know, she's kind of like the bombshell, we'll say. She's drinking the champagne and then the bubble bath, and she gets a little bit of this and a little bit of that. Like, it just really suited her to be receiving this reward.
Yeah, she's the one. Chappies spends 200 Nikos on some sugar, which I just never understand.
I would never take that. Sugar or coffee, I probably would not be taking, but.
Anella gets tapas for about $200. It's 200 Nikos. That was a little bit better. Tyson gets fish and chips for only 100.
Yeah.
That was a great deal. But then Tyson gets the next one too, and this is an immunity challenge advantage.
I was like, uh-oh. I got so nervous about this because, I mean, I know, okay, so this is the other comparison that I want to make with the division. I feel as though the Tyson, Kieran, and Warda of it all, with I guess like extraneously Nicole and Anella, I feel like they're like the friendship on season 6, and that like that Chappies and Chantele are like the Janelle and the Kaser, and like, you know what I mean, like they can't do anything wrong, but the other guys are we're the good guys, and like we can't stand them, you know. It's kind of like, what's his name, that the fireman, Cappy, you know, Cappy, as though, you know, and we just couldn't stand them, and like they were doing well sometimes, and they're sticking together, they're pointing out how awful Janelle was, and you know, like fighting and how she was terrible, but we just still love that side. So this is the divide that I'm feeling right now, is that the Chantele and the Chappies, they can't do wrong right now because they're the sovereign too. And the other people right now are the friendship.
Nerd. Yes. I second what Lady Di says. What an analogy. That just blew my mind. Those are very, yes, I do. I see a lot of similarities. I don't feel strongly against Tyson and Kieran I'm not going to say Warda's name. I don't feel strongly against Tyson and Kieran like I did Cappy and
Fair. That's fair.
What's her name that
tribal,
won? This is how much we love the winner.
Amber. Oh, Maggie?
Maggie, thank you. Okay. Strong feelings against them.
True.
That I don't have, but all the other comparisons that you said, absolutely. Like, you just find yourself rooting for Chappies and Santini. You just lean that way. And the trio has this, moral high ground that they keep trying to tell us. And we're like, you're like, but you're on a reality show. So
so that's the whole time, especially at Tribal. I'll probably bring this analogy back up because like at Tribal, I was like, yeah, there was a lot I had to say at Tribal.
That's great. I love that. Okay, Kieran for 300 is going to buy himself out of the auction. That was the worst one there.
I didn't understand what was on the plate. Like, I didn't like. What was that? It was like a roll, like a dinner roll. Like okay, you don't know either. Okay.
I think it was like a scroll. Like it was like a scroll with like, a place card almost. That's like, this is the title of the thing that you have, right? That was kind of how Tyson's advantage was a scroll, and it said advantage on it. But Kieran now spent way too much money to just now not be able to do anything. He has to give his money away, and it goes to Warda, of course. We should also say I did not bring up that there was a plan here to stop Santini from getting anything. And you see, like Kieran tells us that as we go into the auction, we don't want her to buy an advantage. And you see, like, she'll bid $50 and then they're like 100, 200, and they, cut her out. It worked.
It did work. I just see with like this moral high ground that they seem to be taking for the most of this episode, like that's kind of mean. You know what I mean? Like, yes, she's not part of your group. Yes, she's been a double agent, but like, she's also still hungry. Like she also still might. That she doesn't have that much money, so just to outbid her is just like, it's a bit of an eye roll. It's part of the game. Yeah, I get it, but like, come on, like you guys are the moral police over here, but then you can't allow somebody to win some food.
Well, but if they knew it was only going to be food, I don't know that they would have done that, because I don't think they were trying to starve her. They just didn't want her to get an advantage, which I have to agree with. Like, you don't want anyone that you're trying to vote out to have an advantage. But you're also assuming she has an idol, right? So you're not getting her out. For 250 Nikos, Warda's going to bid on the next thing, which is a meal. But she now gets the choice of, do you want this meal or do you want this pot of rice to take back for the tribe? And Warda, who does have the moral high ground,
I can't.
would only accept the rice for the tribe, guys. It's all she would ever do.
I rolled my eyes really hard at this moment. I was just like, oh my God, of course you're going to get the rice for the tribe. Like, whatever. Like, I liked Warda at the very beginning of the game, and then I started to not particularly be siding with her. You know what I mean? With like how she was attacking like Anella sometimes at the tribals and stuff like that. But like this, like the fact that she was really the spirit when I was spearheading the fact that like, oh, these guys are so awful. They're just terrible people. Like, look how amazing I am. I'm going to buy rice for everybody because I'm so selfless. It's just kind of like, you're also in a really selfish game for like R1 million. Like, you're not that selfless. Okay. Like, anyways, sorry.
Right. But also the fact that you just think about the group is honestly Warda's downfall. Like, she is only a loyal team player. She has never once made a decision on her own, done something for herself, and you are not going to win the game. Like, that is just not how you win a game. So,
and I guess it was also like kind of foreshadowing at the beginning where she's just like, I outplayed you, Anesu. And I was like, oh, it was just so annoying. She didn't really outplay Anesu. She just had the numbers in her favor and two people that decided to flip over with them. Like, Anesu was making better moves and she wasn't fully outplayed. She was blindsided. So yes, I guess it's outplayed, but I don't think it was because of Warda's strategic mastermind. She didn't even know that the plan was happening. She's like, oh, we're voting for Anesu. Oh, okay. Like, so for her to take any credit of like, oh, I outsmarted you, Anesu, I was like, no.
Yeah, she can't. I mean, she was just her loyal number. That was your part in taking out Anasu. That's it. So Nicole has had enough sitting in that tub and eating everyone else's food. So this time she's going to spend 350 Nikos. And what she gets is the advantage that she is the one who can send the person to Immunity Island, no matter who wins immunity. That one's really good.
That's such a good one. So she gets a bath, she gets champagne, she gets a bite of everybody's food, and she gets to decide who is going to go to Immunity Island. She can also choose herself. Like, if it was like you had to choose someone else, that might have been a little bit like, ooh, like, what is she going to do with it? Well, we know what she's going to do with it. But, like, she could choose herself. So she really cleaned up. And she had $50 left over.
Yeah, does she? I don't even know.
350 and 100. Yeah.
Yeah, 100. Yeah. They had 500. Is that right?
I believe so.
50. Yeah, no, she was so lucky. Like, she has some sort of karma luck thing happening for her. She definitely won that auction. That was the best day of her life. And she made sure everybody knew how wonderful and happy she was.
Do you think this means, though, from how like her edit's been, that she's not winning the game?
Yes.
Okay. That's what I was thinking too. I was like, okay, they had to give her this big episode because she's not going to be winning this game. Like, I'm wondering, well, we're going to get to it, but
I think that she does win comps. I think that she's in the show, she's in the edit because she does have these lucky moments and she wins comps, but they haven't shown us any reason that someone would vote for her is the only reason I would confidently say she's not winning the game. No. But she could very well be in the end, though. She can win out, I feel like. So then at the very last minute, Kieran is like, hey, could I also have my letter? And so he does buy that, which is a nice way to do it.
For him.
Yeah, because she has.
Was that even money. Allowed, though? Like, was that allowed? Right?
Is that illegal? Title of the episode, is this illegal?
Is this allowed? Nico, what's your verdict?
Your Honor, Nico. All right, let's get back to camp after this auction, and they go through Chappie's bag.
Is that allowed? Like, you know what I mean? Like, we're talking, this whole episode's all about moral policing. Like, should you be allowed to go through someone's bag? And if you find anything in someone's bag, are you allowed to expose it, right? Like, it wouldn't be allowed in a court of law if you got some, like, illegal recording without the other person knowing that you've done so. Like, you can't use it as evidence in court. So I think they have zero legs to stand on because they went through someone's bag.
They have zero legs to stand on. That is for sure. They find 2 flints. They find a whole pile of sweets. And they find the tribal council pass. They find a lot.
It's a lucky find. So why was Chaffee's holding on to both flints, though? That's my question, especially if he's hiding things in his bag. Not that he would expect people to go through his bag. I would not expect anybody to rifle through my bag. But if he has the flint and he's not at camp and people need the flint, like, maybe keep one that's communal, but like you always know where one is. I think it was a little bit sloppy on his part to not have them, like, at least one available for people.
Yeah, I think he did a few things that were sloppy here. Now, there was a conversation earlier in this episode where Santony told him about the fire idol. And she said, so I have to imagine that will come and play in this game. Will you teach me how to make fire? So I wonder if he took both flints so that they could go off
together and practice.
Yeah. Like, maybe he did only have one before, but then he took the second one for the 2 of them to practice.
That's a good, I didn't think about that. It's a good option.
That's just a fact. Not sure. But then everyone goes to bed. And Chaffee's is like, I got a big immunity comp to play tomorrow. And all I had today was some sweets. So Chaffee's Diner is open.
This is so risky. Like, it's like somebody could just wake up in the middle of the night. Like, the fact that they're able to be recording him at all, that means that there's something going on. Like, somebody should be, I would wake up. Oh, maybe not. But like, I would think
Mhm.
that somebody would wake up outside, like uncomfortable, like noises, rustling,
Yeah.
like for him to like start a fire, boil water, cook some mussels and some rice, and eat it all, and with having a light flash on them with a camera. Like, I just think it's shocking that people didn't wake up or notice that he's been doing it.
I always find it shocking when like we've had those twists where someone comes from a whole other camp and they're like up searching under someone's bed and stuff like that, and they steal and they walk up. But from what I hear from former Survivor players is that you get used to constant noise. There's animals and whatnot, but there's also production. Like people are just making
That's
noise
true.
through the night. That's what I've been told, because I say the same thing. Like, how are you not waking up to this?
Yeah, I mean, if they're used to production moving around and maybe like rustling and moving things, okay, that makes a little bit more sense than how he can get away with that. Because like, I can tell usually if somebody like is in the bed with me and then like they get out of
Yeah.
the bed, like you notice changes in those type of things. So kudos to
But
him.
it does seem like he picks up that pot and he goes like down the beach and around a corner. Like it looks like he goes off and has the freedom to cook up this seafood feast that he makes for himself and enjoys the evening. I mean, does he not need sleep? He only needs food. He doesn't need sleep. Like
I
what?
guess.
But you
I
know
guess.
what? You said it. A little sloppy. The next day, the pot is still there. The whole setup,
Okay,
Chappie's
what
Diner, is still there.
do you mean, Chappies? Did he fall asleep after? Just like, oh my god, I'm so tired. Like, and just ate a big meal and just forgets to go wash the pot and put it back. Especially knowing that Warda is so particular about like her kitchen
Her
and like
kitchen.
her pots and
What?
pans.
What? Yeah. Why are you're so sneaky at night and then you just don't even clean up the mess? I mean, come on. So Kieran finds it, and now he's telling everyone, and they're on to him that he's stealing rice and making meals.
Oh
Needless
boy,
to say, they're mad.
I would be mad as well.
I would
Like
be.
if I was on their side, if I was like a Nesu hearing about it at Tribal or even at Santony hearing about it, she's just like, ah, like good. Like it just like when you stick it to the people that you don't like, I'm just like, whatever, chappies.
Yeah. If I'm on jury, this is hilarious. If I'm still in the game, even if I'm Santony, I'd be like, oh my God, can you like not eat the rice, please? I would like some, again, do it, but don't get caught.
Well, do you remember though I don't remember what season, maybe season 20, I don't know, US Survivor when like Tyson was stealing coconuts, I think it was with Jervis. And like I remember being like, oh my God. Like I was so like nervous for them. I'm like, people are gonna find out. So yeah, I don't think I could do it. I don't even think I could be the one participating in it. I'd be like so nervous that someone would find it and they smell it on my breath, like something.
Right.
So I wouldn't be ballsy like Chappie says. But we have to remember in the beginning, he said he was gonna kind of play chaos. So he's back, like it's out. Chaos is happening.
Oh, it's here. The chaos has arrived. This immunity challenge, we've seen it before where you got ropes and you got to like untangle, go through, up, down, all around. But it is going to be in elimination rounds, 3 rounds here. And Tyson's advantage puts him automatically to the second round. Does not have to do the first round.
Decent advantage, but the one thing that's good about playing the first round is that you can just get the feel for like how to move your body through it. So you're starting to practice a little bit. So you won't be tired by starting by the next one, but you won't be as good at it necessarily as the other two that have tried it, or the other 3 that have already tried it.
Yeah, I was surprised that this advantage really wasn't that great. Right? I mean, like better. Sure. I think like half, they would have had to build it, but like only half the rope twisted or whatever that's called. Like if it was half done, that would be great.
Yeah,
like, what was it that we saw? They didn't have to dig. What was that? Tyson got that advantage. Mm-hmm. Like something that actually helps them. This was great. Okay, you're not out on the first round, sure, and you're not as tired as everyone else, but you still have to go through round 2 and 3. And he could have been out on the second round. It wouldn't have made a difference.
Exactly.
but Tyson's good. So we know he's going to do all right. Okay, our first round, Anella, Chappies, Warda, and Kieran are able to advance. Nicole, shockingly, and Santini are not able to advance. I was surprised about Nicole.
I felt that this was definitely a challenge that was more a man was more inclined to win, because like you have to kind of crawl up and jump down. It just takes some upper body strength, I think, that men tend to have more of, and they're better at these kind of climbing things. I know that there's some women that are extremely agile and very good at this type of thing, so I'm not saying all, but I just as soon as I saw it, I was like, well, a guy's gonna win this one for sure. And we kind of saw that the women were out first.
Women were out first. Tyson, Chappies, and Anella advance from the second round. Then Anasu, in the form of an eagle, flies over. Chappies is having a heart attack, it sounds like, from his breathing, having a stroke or something. But thank goodness Anasu was there to get him through, and Chappies wins the immunity challenge.
How excited were you? I had some audible screams at my computer when this was happening. Like, yes, like I was just so happy because I love their plans being foiled. I was so happy for him because I was like, they can't touch them. They can be mad all they want, and they can't do nothing except for try really hard at tribal.
Yeah. This has not helped their anger. They are mad, and now they are very mad. I knew it was going to be a good close battle between him and Tyson. That I figured. But yeah, Chappie's able to pull it out himself. And then Nicole, using her advantage, sends herself to Immunity Island.
Expected it. And I was like, yep, just pluck another person that there's an easy vote for them just out of the mix. I was like, perfect. Yeah.
She needs to be safe tonight. No reason to not be safe herself and to try to get, whatever advantage she can there. So she is going to go to Immunity Island, and we're going to see that she has to dump out a bunch of numbers and put them in order within the timer, and the fire idol is up here again as an option, or if she loses, she gets a vote against her, which is risky at this point in the game.
I'm trying to think of if I like this challenge or not. Like, I couldn't really tell. I guess each bag had like a third of the pieces in it or a quarter. I don't know. And like that, the hardest part would be untying the bag, I think, and then putting them in order. It's like, it's not really skill. It's a little bit luck, being like, oh, was it 1 and 2 right beside each other automatically, or did I have to flip one over and put it over? So I don't know if I love this challenge. It wasn't that great to watch. But she did it.
She did it. I mean, I was tense. I was into it because of the stupid timer. Like,
I thought she was going to time out.
The unwrapping the bags, like you said, like every time she had to unwrap a new bag, my anxiety went up because I'm like, this is what the whole challenge is. How fast can you buy a bag and dump out numbers? How fast can you dump them out and flip them over is the only skill that I'm seeing here. But I didn't even think. And then we see she did invert numbers, and she had to stop and say, what did I do wrong? I thought it would be simple, but yeah, 68, easy to flip and make a 89 or whatever. So she does catch that and fix it, but with time to spare. So good for her.
I mean, yeah, definitely good for her. Well earned. She was patting herself on the back as well, being like, well, most people weren't able to complete their challenges. So I feel good about the fact that I completed mine. Kudos. Absolutely.
Yeah.
But I don't know if she'd be able to do some of the other ones. They were kind of hard.
Right. No, this one. Yeah. How fast can you untie a bag? So she has the fire idol, you guys. And next week is going to be the last time any idol or advantage can be used. So
it's going to be used no matter what. Oh my God. Is it going to be Kieran versus Tyson? Wouldn't that be insane? Sorry.
That would be insane. I bet it's not going to be, but that would be insane. Okay. So back to camp. We have Santini making it clear that she wants Warda gone. We are back to Savage Santony, who is not thinking really about too much game. I mean, a little game, but mostly I don't like Warda, and I have been wanting to get her out for days, weeks.
Well, at the beginning of the episode, she's like, "This means war," and I was like, "You know what? When she says it, she means it." Like, she don't get on Santony's bad side because it hasn't been ending well for the people that have been. So.
And also about time, you guys. Like, what Santony has been in this position on this team of people who don't care about her at all, and she's been mad at them for weeks, and now she is really ready to strike, I guess, is what we're seeing here.
Go Santony.
Kieran and his group, they need Santony to feel comfortable. They assume Santony has an idol. They cannot allow her to use it. So let's include her. Kieran goes to work, and I really do value Kieran as a game player. He is willing to do just about whatever it takes. Like, he's thinking it through and putting in the work.
Yeah, I was really worried that it would work because it was a good plan. I feel like the fact that like he's so believable. Remember a few episodes ago, like a month or so ago, when they had the other tribe swap, and he was like, we're like, wasn't he part of the old? Like, why is he hanging out with like Marisha and all these people? Like, and he's like in on the plans, and like we thought he was on the out. So he's definitely really great at getting people to believe that they're on his side. And so I was really worried that Santony was going to buy into this because he is so believable.
Yeah, and I feel like she has bought into it before, but I was like, are you serious, Kieran? Like, you think you can go over there and they're going to believe you're voting with them? Like, this is a stretch, though. Like, this is a stretch. I mean, Kieran is talking to her and Chappies, and they're giving the whole plan to him and making him think that they want him to be the third vote, and he's in on it. And then he takes it back, and they're like, oh, they're so dumb. They think that we're, going to be the third. Like, and I was like, no, you're dumb. You think they're falling for this?
I mean, I was scared still. I was still scared.
Yeah.
It was the next one where I was like, I was very excited that it didn't work. You're going to tee us up right now.
Then when Warda is sitting there with Santony. Oh, I haven't heard your name at all. No. Yeah. Save that idol. Yeah. 6 from 6 to 5. Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Like, there's no way that you're going to want to do that 2 times in a row. You're not going to like misplay an idol. Oh my God. And I love Santony playing it up too, being like, oh my God, no, I wouldn't want to do that. And then just going directly to Chappies, and like I squealed into light that she did not buy it at all. And just like, yeah, I'm so on their side.
In what world do you, because they're genuinely saying her biggest fear is that she's going to use this idol wrong again. She did it already. This is her biggest fear. And I was like, really? That's a bigger fear than leaving with an idol in your pocket?
No.
No, that is the ultimate fear. Like, that's the worst.
I don't even know if I could have an idol for the fact that I would be terrified of leaving with it in my pocket. So I would not be able to hold on to it for more than one tribal. I'd have to be like, yeah, I got to use this. I'm sorry. It's just too much stress for me here. Like,
that's such a good point. I'd probably be the same way. I'd be like, oh my God, am I leaving? Wait, I don't want to leave with it. I'm just going to use it. I'm just going to use it, guys. And they're like, we're not even voting for you. What are you doing? I got a pair. I can't handle it. Okay. Well, Warda, again, on her moral high ground, is making the announcement to plenty of people that she's taking the rice. She's going to put it in her bag. And she says, this is a fear tactic. She says, if I get voted out, the tribe doesn't have food. She's saying all of these words that she's later going to rewrite history. But she is saying, I'm taking the rice as a reason not to vote me out. If you vote me out, I'm taking all the food.
And then they'll be stuck there for the last 9 days with no food. They're going to starve. Sorry, like you're so kind, and you want to make sure that you got this food for everybody, and now you want to take it away from them if they decide to vote you out. Like, like no matter what, I would be calling your bluff anyways. Take the rice then. They're not the production is not going to let us starve. You've seen how many rewards they've gotten this season. Like production would never let them starve.
These people eat all the time.
Warda, take your damn rice.
Take the rice. I'm so glad that you said this all very clearly because it's going to come back to bite you. Chappies doesn't miss a beat. Santini gives him this information and he's like, okay, cool. So I'll bag some sand and I'll pull out. I was like, what? He had that idea ready to go. He's like, cool. So I'll just take the rice out of her bag, fill it with a bag of sand. I was like, what?
I would never have thought of that myself.
I would not have thought about it either. And then literally this shot, Chantele, this shot where she is sitting right there and he is right behind her, just emptying her bag, putting in this.
Thank you.
What are we watching? I was like dying.
I mean, it's just so ballsy that I guess like you kind of have to do things out in the open and for people to not think that you're actually doing something sneaky, I guess.
Oh my gosh. I was like, he's right there.
Like, he's not doing that right now, is he?
Totally oblivious. Totally missed it. Wow. So good. Okay. Well, let's get to this tribal, guys. Because, whoa. I'm already like, this episode is, what is this? This is all over the place.
I wasn't prepared for this tribal.
No, I was not either. Okay. Tribal. We start with Chappies and his salute to Anasu. I did this all for Anasu. She was with me on the comp. Here, it's all for Anasu, which I think is really good jury management, honestly. But then Tyson's like, no, we're not sticking with this. Let me get us started here. He is a cheater. He's a big fat cheater. Had his sweets in his bag. They fell in his shirt, Chantele. They just fell in his shirt. You know, it was just like,
I'll make sure it's in a heavy right pocket.
Yeah, just like some heavy. Did I leave with heavy pockets? Yes. I was like, I don't know if you should say anything, Chappies.
I wasn't sure how it was going to play out, but he wasn't denying anything. So I think that actually probably helped him in the fact that with what we learn a little bit later on is that like, everybody's done something to this degree. So he doesn't know necessarily that it's wrong since it's something that they've all agreed upon in the past to be okay with. So I was really annoyed with Tyson though, with like how like he just so indignant. Like, how dare you leave with the sweets? Like, I was like, relax. Like, I mean, it's annoying and it's obnoxious, but for me, it felt like he was just clawing at anything that he could.
This whole time he's been a robot, Chantele, but today he's going to be a human and speak up because he's pissed. That is accurate, Tyson. You are pissed. Warda is emotional. She is holding back tears. She is counting breaths to like stay calm. And I guess, which is the first time I've seen her do that. She usually likes to go off,
and this is where I was feeling that it was kind of like the nerd herd, well, how they were like so angry at like Janelle breathes and Yvette was just like, ah, like that's what I felt was going on. Like Chappie's just sitting there like, oh yeah, and they're just like 1, 2, 3. It just felt like that dynamic, and I was just on the side of Chappie's and Sansony. I was like, whatever, eat the candies. Whatever.
It's so true. She is like half crying and she's like, it's an unfair advantage, Nico. There has to be repercussions. He stole rice at night in a pot and she is going all in. Tyson, he's pissed. Chappies is selfish. Then Ward is like, the rice that I had in my bag, he stole out. Chappies was like, thank you for bringing that up because you stole the rice.
You said you're going to take it from us and you're using that against us and you're bringing it here so you can take it home if you're being voted out. So I brought the rice. I was like, oh my God, you brought the rice. Like, how would he know to bring the rice?
Santini's like, let's point out that you're stealing that from the entire tribe. Literally, I didn't even feel like this was edited, Chantele. Obviously
No.
it was. But it just sounded like back and forths, and like this person yells something and then this person yells back. And I was like, wow, it went on and on forever. Nico's like,
the first time he doesn't have to like ask leading questions. Like he's just like just observing completely.
yes. This goes on for so long until Warda's literally begs Nico to interject. And he's like, oh, are you guys going to let me talk now? Cool. You're all guilty. You're all rule breakers. And they're all like, oh.
Well, it's because Santini pointed out the fact that after one of the reward challenges, they all came back with pockets full of meat to share with the people that didn't enjoy that challenge. And so everybody, I believe, had some part either as a consumer or someone that stole. And so you can't say stealing for the group is okay or stealing for the self isn't okay. It's all under the same umbrella as stealing. So do you all want to be reprimanded and like be removed from the game or whatnot for the fact that you took from a challenge and you brought it back to camp? So
yeah, I mean, fighting on the one little point of like, but his was for an unfair advantage. We all shared was like, you're all guilty. Shafika, it's a good question. I think Nico gets a heads up about what happened at camp and what the producers are expecting to talk about. They typically prep for this so that Nico can ask leading questions towards so had Tyson not jumped into this, I'm sure Nico had a question about
like, so who's been
fairness or do we feel like this game of fair, like he would have just said something that would have gotten the ball rolling. How they all kept track though, like, because Nico did say, okay, this point, and then about this point, I was like, there had to have been someone writing down, okay, Nico, this point, because he did cover every point. Yeah, they might be in his ear.
I do have a question though.
Yeah.
If they hadn't have stolen the meat, like for the whole every other time, would he have given some sort of penalty to Chappies if that was the case? What do you think would have happened there?
I don't know. That's a good question. I mean, I was sitting there waiting. I was like, oh my God, are they going to, because they're like pushing his illegal. His necklace, yeah. Is he now all of a sudden not safe at this tribal? I was really on the edge of my seat about that more than anything. But when Nico did get to that point, even though we'd already covered that they're all guilty about something, he got to that point about, wait, no, not even. Like, I don't even remember when he was like, yeah, no, it was the rice in the bag that I was like, where they pointed out that she stole it too. So and everybody was stealing.
He brought the rice back to her. Mm-hmm. And so like, oh yeah, because Nico's point was the rice was for everybody. So you can't say that he went into your bag and stole rice, because that rice, you lost your own. She's like, it was worded very specific. Do you want this for yourself or do you want this for the tribe? So then you took the tribe's belongings and you brought them. Oh, but I wasn't gonna leave here with it. I was gonna give it to someone that I trusted to like go back and group everybody.
I can't imagine, just thinking from production, I can't imagine that they would take away his immunity because there's no proof that stealing the food gave him an unfair advantage. I think that would be the point that Nico would argue, is that yes, he stole. If no one else ever stole before, then okay, Chappies is a stealer, a thief, but he still won immunity. So maybe they give him a vote. Or if you make it to the final, you lose a vote. Like you
can't participate in the next reward challenge or something.
Yeah. Fine. Yeah. I think it would be a small penalty for stealing food. Like that's not a huge
and it was like his own stuff too. It wasn't like, I don't know, like a pocket full of bonbons. Like, I don't know, guys, like it's a bit of a reach.
Yeah.
But they tried.
Yeah. Right. So also though, I did enjoy when Nico's like breaking this down of like, everyone is guilty. He then points out that Chappies let them eat spaghetti longer until he won immunity. And then he didn't bring this up, but I brought it up inside my head that Chappie's also saved several people from drowning.
Mm-hmm.
So if you're yelling how selfish Chappie's is, did he save you from drowning? Because that's pretty not selfish.
Saved you from drowning. Yeah, but I didn't even think about that in the moment, but I'm totally agreeing with you. It's they're choosing the narrative that they want right now, right? And right now, Chappies and Sansony are the enemy, and everything that they do is going to be going against their character and who they are as people, so they can feel good about targeting them. And I think they're also getting nervous that they're going to be broken up, and they don't want to be broken up by these outsiders. So they're just like grasping at straws here because they can see that their reign is coming to an end, and they're just trying anything that they can to. Yeah, I don't know what they wanted to happen or expected to happen, but they tried.
I think they tried to get him like kicked out of the game. I think Tyson was like, take him out of the game. It's illegal.
Would you? I don't think I would have felt good though about playing the game still if I got somebody out that way. You know, it's kind of like, I don't know. I don't feel like, okay, yeah, you're not supposed to bring candies back from the challenge, but he did win those candies. So if he was able to shove them all in his mouth and he kept them in his mouth and then like, oh, I couldn't finish them, I kept in my hand and put it in my bag. Like, I don't know, like, would that been okay if it's touched saliva? Like, I don't know, like, it's just kind of like, doesn't really matter that much. And yeah, it sucks that he stole food from you guys, but it's also kind of the honor system is part of the game. And if you don't want to honor the honor system, it sucks. Like, you're not playing the same game as them. So I don't know. I don't think that I would have felt good as a player like a Tyson or a Warda or a Kieran if us complaining about these antics actually got him kicked out of the game. I don't think I'd feel good about that.
Oh, I would. I want you out. Anyway, I remember what season was it when there was a ton of Medivacs. You guys, patrons, we just watched this. What Survivor season did we just watch?
With when there was like 5, like with Beast Mode Cowboy, and
I think it was Micronesia. Micronesia had several? Yeah, Suri was like, "Look, if this is how you go out." This is how you go out. I need you out because I need to win. And I was like, yes, exactly. Stinks that you're being medevaced. Stinks that I got you kicked out because you did something illegal. But look, I need to win this. So all y'all need to go in whatever way you need to go. So
okay. Mm-hmm. I don't think I could do it, but I see your point 100%. I mean, I'm not gonna maybe for $1 million, I'd be like, okay, sorry, God, like I'm going to go down with this. So you're out of here.
Yeah, like I don't think I'm going to frame you incorrectly. Like you didn't actually do it, and I set you up to get kicked out. Like that's not something I'm going to do. But hey, if you do it and I get you caught, whatever. You got to go somehow. I think that's how Suri said it. Okay, so before we get to these votes, though, Chappies is like, one more thing, y'all. I got a tribal council pass. Who am I going to send? Now, did you think he was really going to send Anella? Because he sends Anella.
I thought he was going to send Sansony and just allow Anella to go, but then they would still have an idol for the next round, is what I thought they were going to do. But I did think this was a good play just to break up that trio. So I was like, okay, I didn't think that they were going to do this, but okay. Okay, they're hoping now that Anella and Nicole will come over to them, which I don't really think that they'll do. Especially now with all this food stealing things, but it's a good idea.
Yeah, I don't know. It's a bummer that Sansony had to burn her idol for this when she could have just been sent out, but this was the only way you absolutely get Warda out and break up that trio. So I do agree that that's a big game move because that trio does need to be broken up. Losing Anella keeps the trio strong and does not help Sansony and Chappies, honestly.
But it would allow Nicole to be like, oh, well, they said that we were with them and they voted out like Anella, and Anella thought he was in ahead of Warda. So that might have allowed Nicole maybe to make it a 3-3 tie between them. But true. No, I think this is like the sureness of breaking up that trio, I think was what was more important.
Right. Because now we basically have 2, 2, and 2, right?
But I don't know if it was the right target, personally.
Oh no, I definitely feel like one of the guys needed to go. And Kieran is the strongest player in my mind. He's the brains of the operation. So I would have taken Kieran out if it were me, but
Mm-hmm.
Santony already let us know she's just mad.
Yeah, this means war.
Yeah. All right, let's get to the votes. So Santony is going to play her idol before the votes are read. And those looks, Ward is just like, yeah, sealed my fate. First three votes, Santony, 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 obviously. But then the next two votes are going to be Warda, Warda. And that's going to be all she wrote for Warda.
She ended up actually getting outplayed. So it was just a nice button for her episode, this one, being that she thought she outplayed Anessa when actually she just got outplayed by Chappies and Santony. Love that.
Boop. That's exactly what happened. Yeah. So who would you have taken out of the trio if you were in that situation?
Well, just because I'm annoyed with Tyson, thinking that he's I'm the king of the blind sides. Like, I'd just be like, yeah, well, this one's for you, babe. Like, I would have been just annoyed and want to get his ego out. So I would have probably be playing a little bit emotionally that way and want Tyson out. And I do feel that even though I wouldn't be on his side per se, I do feel like Kieran is a little bit more reasonable, and I can play with somebody that is going to be strategic and logical, and so I can I can predict a little bit more what he's going to do. He's going to do what's going to be best for his game, so I can maybe decipher when he's lying to me and have a better idea of what he was going to do. So I'd probably want to keep. Yeah, I think I would take out Tyson, keep Kieran, because it might be able to keep my enemy closer and maybe work together a little bit.
Yeah, I definitely would have taken out one of the guys. I mean, Warda does not strategize or make plans.
Or win.
Or, yeah, she hasn't won anything either. So she's just a number, which obviously still you don't want numbers. But at this point, I would take out one of the heads of the snake. Like, that's basically where we are. So yeah, good for you guys for finally breaking up the trio. Hate that you burned an idol, but you still have a uphill battle here with Tyson and Kieran in the game.
It's very bad. We gotta hope for Nicole here, because I think
she seems pretty mad at Chappies.
True, but you don't you want to sit beside people that everybody hates? Right. Oh, yeah. So Nicole might be able to be persuaded, be like, you're not going to win beside either of those two. You will win beside us.
She knows that, right? She has to know that. And I don't think Anella knows that. I think Anella thinks that the three guys could sit next to each other and he'll be happy. But I feel like Nicole has to know this.
Right. And that's another thing, though, maybe is the reason why they took out Warda, is I'm not a fan of having the drag to final two person, drag to final three. It does take up a seat. And so if that's the case, like, oh, we're not going to worry about getting out Warda because she's not useful to our games and she's not going to win anything. It's kind of like, let's actually get her out because, like, she's taking up one of our spots and she's a number for people that we're not playing with. So I'll take the rationale of that as that.
Right. I just remembered, though, I feel like they've blown a lot of smoke up Nicole's bootay. Every time she wins something, they're like, Nicole, you're so amazing. You're so good. Oh my God, you're the only one who competed with Chappies in the water challenge. Oh my God. So she might be under some false, impression that she's the best player in this game.
So bad.
And she could go to the end with anybody.
I don't think she'll beat anybody, even with Chappies being like probably enemy number one. I just don't think she's going to be able to do it. I think, like, for me, that time, that reward where they went to the water slides, like, that to me sums up how she plays the game. And I don't think she can live that down, right? Like, in my mind, and probably in the other people, like in Amy's mind, in Rainier's mind, that she just fumbled that bag so hard that I just don't see that anybody would be able to give her the win against anybody that's left in the game.
Yeah. I she's not getting many votes, depending on who she sits next to. But yeah. I don't know. Okay, so Chappie's is enemy number one, obviously moving forward, which maybe is a little bit of a buffer for Santony, but Chappie's has a better chance of winning an immunity necklace over Santony. So I don't know what we're gonna see here coming up.
What we can hope for is Chappie wins, sends Santony. No matter what, though, it will be a fire idol that's going to be played. So we know that if it's going to be our two-phase, so if it's going to be Santony versus Chappie's, at least we know one of them is staying. I mean, guys would always know that, but maybe with them all having that information, so Nicole has that information and Santony has that information, so maybe they can try to fudge numbers a little bit so that maybe they only get one vote instead of two or something like that. I don't know. I haven't.
But even if, let's say, Nicole wins immunity, although it's we saw what it was. It's like holding up over your head, balancing something. I don't think a guy's going to win that. Yeah, a guy's going to win that. So
that's a Chappie Styles winning game to win, I would say. It's actually all of them could be really good. I could see all of them winning that.
Yeah, Tyson, Kieran, they could all win it. But if for some reason Nicole or Anella win and send the other to Immunity Island and they have a way to save the both of them, then maybe they would be smart enough to know they need to strike against Tyson and or Kieran at that moment.
Anella's not going to, though, because he's like, oh my God, I love the guys so much.
Yeah. I mean, you just why do you want to sit next to them? Why?
For honor. You know what I mean?
I know.
Yeah.
So all right. Well, so there. I don't know if that's going to happen. It has to be a Chappie Santony win / some sort of advantage to save them. Nicole's going to play her idol. And
so when she plays the fighter idol, so it doesn't even necessarily have to do with her, though. She's just playing an idol to it's not even an idol. It's like a button that she's pressing, like, okay, let's change the game, because it's not an idol, really.
Well, if she truly is still aligned with Anella, which I think she is, and it looks like Anella might be the target, like if she's safe. I mean, if she's not safe, I mean, she very well could be the target if Chappie's is safe.
Chappie's is safe.
But if either her or Anella are in danger potentially, then she'll play it for either one of them just to be safe, right? And then whoever the two highest votes are, let's say it's Anella and Chappie's, or Anella and Santony, or maybe because Santony votes for, let's say Tyson, it's Anella and Tyson who are being voted for. Whoever the two that are getting votes, they're going to make fire and one of them's going to go.
I wonder. I have to think about all the numbers. I wonder if there's a way to move them around so that those four are. It's all the votes are between them. You know what I mean? Like maybe 1 and 1 on Tyson, because actually that's probably what they would want to do. There needs to be an idol in there so they could split these votes or something. Has Nicole told anybody about the fire idol?
Well, we didn't see it because she just came back from Tribal. So we would see it next episode if she tells Anella or Santony, depending on her mood. I mean, she was very clearly running all the information from Santony back to Tyson and Kieran. So she did not seem to be working with Santony this episode.
Well, we know that they don't really like each other. I'm just wondering if she's going to give that information to the guys. For them to be able to troubleshoot this vote, because 2 votes, if it's no matter what, if it's 2 votes on one of those 4, like whoever they put the other votes on is going to, it's going to have to be Tyson or have to be whoever they decide. You know what I mean? So they could have to try to maybe move things around, like maybe convince, I don't know, Santony and Chappie to vote Anella instead of one of them. I don't know. It'll be interesting.
Yeah. And then what advantage would someone get at Immunity Island, or is Immunity Island out of play now?
I feel like it's in play because if this is the last time you can use anything, I feel like it would be the last time you can go to Immunity Island. It's my guess.
Right. So maybe they don't play for an idol. Maybe they play for an extra vote or something that would be pivotal at this time.
A vote's very useful.
Yeah.
That
Let's
that
do it,
can
guys.
definitely make things really interesting. How did you like Warda on her way out? Don't let Chappies win. I'm like, oh, that sounds like Chappies might win.
I was like, girl, you're going to sit on that jury so bitter and you only got one vote. And you're with a bunch of people that you voted out. So good luck to you. I did I also, after we hear her say that, and then she's doing her little last confessional thing, she's like, I'm going to do my best to sit on the jury and vote appropriately. I was like, are you trying to say you're not going to be bitter?
She's like a bitter mouth. Like, she can't even get those words out.
She's like, I will try. I'm like, oh God. Okay. Well, you might be sitting there with a couple of your guys. I don't know. Or you might be
like, is it me or do we want to have like a Nicole Sansony Chappies final three?
I don't know. Like, is that like the fan faves? Is that the whole like underdog rooting for the underdog?
Well, I'm not rooting for Nicole, but I think that Nicole would that would allow Chappies and Sansony to get most of the votes. So
right. I feel like that's the only way Santony wins. I know that people appreciate her a little bit, but you know, if Kieran's sitting at the end, how does he not win?
Kieran will definitely win. Tyson will definitely win. I don't know what will happen between the two of them. Probably Kieran would win because Inesu would be on the jury, and I feel like she'd be very persuasive into who is playing a better game. So I think if Kieran gets to the end, he's winning against anybody.
Hands down. I agree. Even against Tyson. And then if Kieran, for some reason, isn't there, but Tyson is, maybe he gets the votes. But if he's sitting next to Chappies and Nicole, I don't know. Maybe we split the votes a little bit.
Right. And then Chappies might, I don't know, like 4-3-3, whatever. I can't remember what the numbers are. But I could see Chappies pulling out a win because those votes might be split. And people don't really like Tyson that much. So that could be
I can't wait to hear what the jury actually thinks, because sometimes I think they don't like these people, but then sometimes I think they are mad enough at the trio and that got them out, basically. I don't know. I'll be interested to see how they actually vote.
I know it's getting down to the nitty gritty, but is it like 4 episodes left? How much
right. Was this 12?
Yeah,
there's 16. So we have 4 more episodes left. Oh my God.
Wowzers.
Yes. Well, it's getting good. I mean, it's been good from the beginning, but still getting good. Everyone who joined us live, thank you so much for hanging out with us, chatting with us. And if you're joining us later, please leave a comment. Let us know how you feel about Warda going, about Chappies doing the most. Enemy number 1 now. Ooh, what do we... Give us all your thoughts and your feelings. Chantele, what's coming up in your life? What do you want to let everyone know about?
You know what, though? Everything's kind of tapering down with Love Island. I was doing Love Island every day at 2 and 3 p.m. Eastern. So that was like a really big, daunting task. So that's coming to an end on Monday. Both of the seasons will have wrapped. And so I have like 5 hours a day back, which is kind of cool. With watching the show and then going live. So I'm doing Bachelor in Paradise for the most part after the episode, maybe sometimes the day after. So that's kind of fun. It's just messy. It's light. I'm loving David Spade as the host this first week. So that's been pretty fun with my friend Tanya. Definitely the challenge is still on the roster. So going live at 10:30 usually on Wednesdays Eastern. Big Brother, obviously, right after the episode, either with you or on my own channel. And then Fridays, Reality Pop doing the challenge again. And then Saturdays here with you. Okay.
Woo!
I think that's everything.
Yes.
I forgot 2 shows, I'm sure, but that's what I think is Reality Realness, 3 S's.
Yes, Reality Realness linked below. Also, Chantele's socials are linked below. I am watching Bachelor in Paradise with my sister. I'm not covering it, but she and I, that's her favorite of the franchise. So she and I watch it together. And it's so like we needed a comedian host. Chris Harrison taking it so seriously is just not the vibe. These people are ridiculous.
Exactly.
We need to laugh about it all.
Like, aren't you dying in the fact that Little John is narrating? Like, I can't. Like, it's so ridiculous. It's so
it
good.
is,
and I can't wait for the intros. Do you like how they do the silly intros in the beginning, and like they're always silly, and then they roll in the water. They haven't showed it because they introduced everybody this episode,
right?
But now we'll get like and it's Chrissy, you know, and like
I forgot about that. I've only watched one season before, but it happened to be Grocery Store Joe's season, so here we are back with this. I mean, these people, what are we watching? But we do it. We love it. We do it. All right, you guys. I will also be back with a ton of Big Brother this week coming up, starting on Monday. So make sure you're subscribed. Follow me and Chantele.
I will be on the roundtable on Tuesday, actually, with Rob as a podcast. So we'll be talking about the stock watch and stuff like that in the week of feed. So I will be there too. I don't know if I have the time.
I will be tuning in then. Sounds good. All right, you guys have a wonderful weekend. Bye.
Bye.